Hi everyone. Today I'm going to give you some tips for picking a topic for your storytelling presentation. We talked about three aspects of picking a topic, which are appeal, appropriateness, and ability. Appeal. Is your story interesting? And do you care about your story? Appropriateness. Is it appropriate for a classroom setting, but also is it appropriate for a work environment? And number three, ability. Do you have the ability to talk about this story? Well, since it happened to you, you know about the story. You're an expert on the story. However, you may not have the ability to tell a story that's very emotional or comes from a difficult time in your life. So think about, am I going to break down when I'm telling this story? Is it going to dredge up memories for me that I don't want to be thinking about right now? Try to keep those three things in mind when you're picking your topic. But also, there are some other tips that you can think about too. So this presentation is very short. You're going to want to pick a story that's also comparatively short in length. For example, we don't want to hear a story of an entire semester where you encountered difficult experiences and struggled with your academics. Pick one instance where you struggled with a test or giving a presentation or writing a paper, and really focus in on that and the valuable lesson that you learned from that experience. In addition, with our story, we're following the narrative arc. So we're building our story up to a specific point in time that is kind of like the point of the story or the main event of the story. So you shouldn't pick a topic that's like my trip to Mexico. That's a very long trip probably. You know, you might have gone to the beach, you might have gone to some shops, you might have had something to eat, you might have had to travel there and back via plane or car. That's just a lot of details. So you're going to have a lot of different kind of key events and key points in that story. Instead of picking that entire trip to Mexico, let's focus in on the experience of one festival that you went to, or one incredible show or performance that you saw someone give. Those are the kinds of things where if you're focused in on that one event, that smaller time frame, you can give us those vivid details that bring us into the story with you. What do you want your classmates and I to know about you? It could be when you're telling a time that you're at your best, something that you're really proud of. With your embarrassing moment, it can show us your goofy side or something like that. If you want to teach us or tell us about a valuable lesson that you learned, maybe you think that we would benefit from hearing that lesson too. Another strategy that you can take with this presentation is think about a story you might actually end up telling in the workplace at some point in time. So maybe it's an example of a time when teamwork kind of fell apart and how you learned a valuable lesson of bringing people together. Or maybe you're telling a time when you were at your best because you want to practice telling that story for future interviews that you might be involved in. But what it all comes down to is I want you to pick a topic that you feel comfortable talking about, that will be interesting for your audience to hear, that you will be able to talk about using excellent delivery, so variation in your tone, hand gestures, show some engagement with the story that you're telling, and then something that will fit within that 2 to 3 minute mark. So those are some things to think about when you're picking your story topics. I cannot wait to hear all of your stories.